All right. I'm just gonna do a little stream real quick because I just wanted to, I don't know. I see a lot of channels out there that are, sharing some really, they go in depth into music theory and all that. And I some of the stuff goes over my head, and though I do understand it, or a lot of it, some of it just goes right over, and whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's good to know some of the rules, that way you can break them. But anyhow, I figured I would just point out, I'm going to do a little bit of jamming here. I pre-made a drum beat, and it's in a 6/8 time signature, but not your standard waltz. It sounds something like this. Sped it up a little bit for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Sometimes it's not the object is to not make it sound clunky. You try to get it smooth so people don't even notice it. Anyhow, so hey OJ. It's not going to be a very long string. Like if you notice right there above, right there, it's 6/8 time signature. I'm going to do a little experiment, and we're going to talk about. I'm going to try to do a series, and each time I'm going to pick a different time signature and try to come up with a nice backbone to it. Sorry about that, and try to make it smooth. Okay. I'm not going to get carried away into progressive rock land, with all these switching time signatures. But for any of you guys that play guitar that are into rock and aren't too familiar with time signatures, or aware of them, or have a passing relationship with them, I think it's important to really internalize them, and almost some of them become second nature faster than others. Sometimes I find myself jamming in 7/8, and I don't even realize it, because I can very instinctively cut off that last beat. It was one of the first odd time signatures that I learned. If you want to hear something interesting, if you don't know this, it's an old jazz song, Take 5 by Dave Brubeck. It's in an actual 5/4 time signature, and it goes pretty smooth where you wouldn't even notice it. Another example of an odd time signature song would be Mission Impossible. Dun, 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 dun. Right? It's always steady beats. Soundgarden had a song called My Wave that was like. If it feels right, if it feels alright, and if you like the sound, if it gets you up, if it takes you down, don't come over here, piss on my game, say you just keep it off my way. I know I'm butchering that song, but I want you to get some people thinking about that if they haven't. If you already are into this, and it's just, and you're like, this is something you don't know, then I would encourage you to just join the conversation and have fun and whatever. So anyway, let's get into this. Yeah, and I am vaping. Yes, I am. But anyhow, I'm gonna get into this. I'm just gonna do a little improvisation. Drop D, probably D minor, regular shit. And we're going to see what happens. Let's see what we can come up with. Okay, that being said, I gotta answer a phone call real quick, but in the meantime, I'm gonna play a song that I recorded a while ago that I just came to my head. It's called Above and Beyond. As a matter of fact, let's play the video, pull it up on the screen, and you'll notice that the song, even though the verses sound, they're kind of following, it sounds like a 4/4 beat because it's, you know, kick, snare. It's actually in a 6/8. So I'm gonna give you that right now. Just give me a hot second here. See if I can do this. Woo! Okay, there's YouTube. Okay. Okay. Is that Cody in the chat over there? What's going on, brother? Okay, here it is. Yeah, should be good. All right, enjoy the shit.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
I don't know if you guys noticed it. Cody, you're now a moderator. This part was actually in like 5/4. That last part, not this one. All right, well, you get the joke. All right, so I'm back. Let's see what else we can do. Oops, apologize for that sound. We'll drop D. Start over. There we go. flight tech delicious. Okay. Hey, Leisha, how you doing? Glad to see you in the chat. Anyone who clicks this out later, look, sees above right there. I've been considering doing a couple videos, streams, or whatever. It's easier to do streams than it is to do videos. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Anyway, and I'm gonna pick some odd time signatures and try to just improvise with them and break them down and stuff like that. It's always been a fascinating thing with me with music. It's not like I'm not one of those guys that gets carried away with music that has all these shifting and changing time signatures. I think it's a lot more fun to really just get into one and get the flow going until it's almost like a meditative sort of groove until in the beginning you might find yourself counting and stuff like that and all that, because I hear a lot of people, I don't want to count and whatever, time signatures, it's a waste of time. That's, once I got into odd time signatures, I found like the limitations of technology. You always have like the keyboards, you always have these built-in beats and shit. Everything is in fucking 4/4, everything. And I'm just saying, like, if you're a human, sometimes even some bands did on accident. I want to say an accident, but it just was part of their process. Like even Metallica, back in the day when they were really, really good, with Master Puppets and Injustice for All, if you listen to it, there's a lot of shifting time signatures. Now, I'm not saying they were intentionally going, yo, guys, let's make this part in 9/8 or whatever, but they just allowed the music to just sort of, be what it is, and just whatever you needed, another 2 beats here or whatever, or cut one off. You just did what you had to do. Anyhow, I'm going to probably cut the stream short briefly, but let me see if I can get maybe some type of chord progression going here. Obviously, there's not too many people in the chat. If you have any questions, if you want to, or if you want to suggest what the next time signature I do is, go ahead, roll the dice, and I'll do it. But most likely the next one would probably be in like 7 or something like that. But let's see if we can. I apologize if the drum beat is just, I'll work on being able to get, changing, drum beats and stuff. But I'm actually gonna have to erase this last riff, though it was kind of cool. But it's not gonna get erased because it'll be out there forever. So I don't know. I might try some technique of panning one guitar to the left and doing. It's all kinds of things you can do. If you have headphones and you're listening to this with headphones, it's probably the best way to do this. 5/7. You can't do 5/7. However, if you look on YouTube, there are irrational time. See, the bottom number has to be a didactic number, like 2, 4, 8, or whatever. You can't. But there is such thing. It's ridiculous, but it's not something that I would ever use. It means it would be, the top number means how many beats per measure, and the bottom number means which note gets the beat. So it's usually over 4 or over 8. You might see something over 16, 15 over 16, 11 over 16. But it's all about breakdowns. And I guess, I probably should just explain this to you. I wish I had a chalkboard behind me, but maybe next time I'll do that. Okay, so most any kind of beats are grouped into groups of 3 and 2, and you can make those numbers out of those numbers. For instance, if you're playing 5/4, 5/8, you're not going to go. So that means 5 beats per measure, and the 8th note gets beat. 8th notes is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And quarter notes is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 16th is that's what it gets a little different. But I'll give you an example. If you were going to play 5/4, you would just make a 3 and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now it sounds a little like Tool, but try to make make it not sound like Tool. All right, I'll go like this. So you're gonna do 5/4 or 5/8. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. You wouldn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's too difficult. And I'll give you an example of like 11/8 would be another one. Now it sounds complicated. You're not gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna go. You're gonna look at the closest number that it's to is 12, right? These are just things you can. I mean, I'm not saying this is what you have to do, but it makes it a lot easier to group your beats into 3. So you got your closest number is 12. So if you take 12, that really makes a nice, easy 4 groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you got a waltz. In order to make an 11, what you would do is you would just go 1. You would take the 3 measures of 3, and then the last one would be 2. But you could put the 2 anywhere. But just for arguments, just to make it simple, 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9, plus another 2 is 11. Okay, so you'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I'm not gonna count. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You can clap to it. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. So there's your time signature. So watch. We'll get into those, I promise. We will get like in depth and we'll get some grooves going over time. So, okay, so Peter Finn's in the chat. He's expressing himself. He's expressing what he does for a living, and it's good. And whatever you got to do to make ends meet, do what you got to do. I'm all for it. I support it. It's kind of groovy. Nice effects going, you'd be like I would do a drum beat for it. And you know what, maybe I should do 11, I don't know. I'm probably gonna do 7 next and then we'll go into 11. Okay, it looks like Peter has a question. For when you try to count, how do you know you're not counting? Okay, I'm gonna express this one more time. Most of the time, you're only gonna have to worry, it's usually just, the bottom number is either a 4 or an 8, meaning a quarter note or an eighth note. A quarter note is when a whole note is broken into 4, and it's usually it's the common 4 on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. That's pretty much what a quarter note sounds like. Now, granted, you could slow it down, but most tempos are between 100 and 140, 50. You know what I'm saying? It's around there between if it's a slower song, a Pink Floyd, or it can go down to 80. There's all kinds of tempos, but we're gonna say we're gonna use like 120 beats per minute is like usually the central point. It's a common tempo. Okay, shit. Even though this one is like 150, but that's a whole other story. So you got your quarter notes: 1, 2, 3, 4. So you count like that, and they have to be steady. You can't go like if you can't misconstrue yourself because you hear songs that go dun, 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 It's not 1, 2, 3. It's not. They have to be separate. It's 1, 2, dun, 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 dun. You have to find that steady locked group behind it. In that case, it would be, you know, 8s, but a good dun, 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 you have to find that, and it's how many of those steady brackets, beats that you get before the riff or whatever repeats. Okay, like I showed you, Mission Impossible. Dun, 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 dun. I'll tap on my leg. Or I click the. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, I could go to the drum set and show you. Maybe I should. You count the number of beats. Usually it's an over 8 or it's over 4. Can we see? Okay, there we go. All right. This is crazy shit. Here we go. Hopefully you can see me. I never did this. Brought the microphone over to the drum set. Look at that. Get the tear. We don't want that sound though. No, we're not going to do that. Okay, let's get a nice sound. I like that one. All right, so regular 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. If you count 4/4 is the same thing, just like fractions as 8/8, but it's simplified. You wouldn't do 8/8. You'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4/4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So anyway, like I was saying, if you were going to break down a beat like that 11, like I was just playing before, it was like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And I'm dropping sticks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just listen. I screwed that up, but you get the drift. Try it. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, I'll take all the other ghost notes and stuff out as I drop sticks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now it's so when you see 11/8, it seems like a weird time signature. I'm sure there's some weirdos out there that are just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You know, and it's just like, what the fuck is he doing? But we're not going to start there. We're starting with the basics. Same thing with the 5/4. Now, there's two ways usually that I break down a 5/4, and that is just like I told you, a 3 and a 2, or just like any other fraction, 2 3s and 2 2s. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus another 2 groups of 2, which is 4, makes 10. But you just divide that in half, and it still ends up. So technically, 5/4 could be 10/8, but nobody says 10. It's just, it's not, doesn't make sense to say 10 over 8, even though it's valid. So, for instance, like the Mission Impossible would be two fast groups of 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. But even if you get the 1, 2, 3, 4, that's still going to add up to 5. That's the whole thing. Just like fractions, all polyrhythms. You can put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, like I could just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2 over that. 1, 2, 3. Still going to add up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1. Let me show you. I gotta get my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, there's my, if anybody doesn't understand, or has, just ask me and I'll try better to explain it. Because I do think that time signatures I think they're kind of fascinating, and I do think that they're important. I notice them. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying you have to. You might just be a music lover and just dig it. But sometimes, there's got to be some people that don't play an instrument, and you hear certain songs. A good example would be like Money by Pink Floyd. 7/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got out of breath playing drums. All right, Leisha, take it easy. Good to see you pop in the shot. But to continue and sort of end my thing here, this one today is about 6/8, but we're not doing it like a waltz. We're playing 6/8, kind of like just in basically any way we want. I'm kind of playing it like 1, 2, 1, like almost like forcing it over a 4. No, I don't have a guitar pick anymore. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like almost like a Chico and stuff, but it's not. Fell on Black Days by Soundgarden is another great example of a 6/8 being played as if it's a 4, but they do it as if there's just 3 measures of 2. It's just like a missing chord. So, let's get back into this thing. Peter, I have all the faith in the world that you'll be able to begin counting and knowing and being able to at least figure out certain time signatures. Like I said, interesting. So, Money. See? Let's get back into this. A-flat chord. We're just doing some time signature stuff. Let me make you a moderator. So we're just doing a little experimenting in 6/8 time. I think I'm going to do a different episode each day or however when I can. Pick a time signature, talk about it, improvise, break it down. This one's basically like a, just groups, but not playing it like a waltz. It's kind of like a forcing threes over a 4/4. Kind of get the beat. I came up with the beat beforehand. That way, you didn't have to watch me take it 45 minutes to make it. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. Five, six, 1, 2. Well, guys, I think that about concludes my stream for the day. And I might have mislabeled that. I wrote 6-8 above, but it really should have been 6-4. It's the same thing. But anyhow, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and anybody that listens to this later, I hope you gain something from it. I know that my method of speaking is a little bit erratic. I'm going to have to work on that, and I get lost in tangents because there's a lot of information here that I'd like to share. Some of you musicians might know it already, but I think I'm going to begin, sharing whatever I know and help as much as I can. I know there's some fantastic music theory channels out there like Adam Neely and Rick Beato that are way beyond me. I learned a lot of stuff from there. I improved my playing, actually. Learned some things as of recent to improve my own playing, so I would recommend those channels. I'll probably throw some links soon, but for any of you guys that are like beginner to intermediate and have questions and I'm willing to share whatever I know, and so I'm going to begin doing this thing where I think it's just something that gets overlooked, is the whole time signature thing, and like again, I'm not sharing it to make things complicated, and I know there's a lot of bands that are very self-indulgent, and though I do like my share of progressive rock, like old Genesis and Yes and stuff, and I do really enjoy it, but personally, I think it's a lot of fun if you're just putting together a band or getting together with guys and especially if you're writing original music, to try to come up with things that are in an odd meter, an odd rhythm, or whatever you want to call it, and just to the point where you're not counting anymore. It just becomes natural, and then these things internally become a part of your musical vocabulary. So I hope you guys had fun today, and I'll probably be back later. We'll do a little 7/8 or something like that. Have a great day, guys.